Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in once again for another book review. Woo-hoo! So today I will be reviewing the book called They Can't Take Your Name by Robert Justice. And this is the cover of the book. I thought that was very interesting. I was like, who is that? So let's go ahead and get into it. There is a character named Langston, and he is accused and convicted for a crime he professes to not have committed, a bank robbery. The Mother's Day Massacre is what the crime is coined. Langston is the second man to be put on trial for the murders that occurred during this robbery. So let me tell you about a few key players in this story. There is Slager, who is the crooked cop promoted to detective. This is not the first time Slager has put away the wrong man. Slager was once a cop that wanted to do good for his community, make it safe. Along the way, the lines got blurred and eventually erased on how he accomplished that. Slager began to believe he was helping rid the community of its filth. Thinking a person was guilty of a criminal activity, even if it wasn't the one they were convicted of. Then there is Eli. Eli has had some losses in his life. However, he is attempting to give a safe place back to his community by renovating and opening up the Raws. Eli has held on to his fear for decades and is hesitant to become involved in the Langston case. He grapples with opening the door wider to face what haunts him. Eli knows Slager is no good and makes an attempt to overcome his fear and do his part to right a wrong. Then there is Liza. She is on a quest to get her father's conviction overturned. Liza wanted to be a singer before her world was upended when her father was convicted of a crime he didn't commit. This event changed the trajectory of her life, and she headed down the road to becoming an attorney. Liza thought she had time to gain her education and then fight for her father's freedom. Liza gave it her all, and Langston was proud of her, but also wanted her to come to grips with reality and what was inevitable. Now, you will have to read the book to see how these key players connect in the story and affect the outcome. I will let you read the book to see if Liza was able to save her father or not. Was Eli able to face his fear? How did Langston's life and conviction play a role in everyone's lives? Well, you'll have to read the book to find those answers out. This book does provide a peek in the workings of the judicial system. That it really is blind to fairness. How can an innocent person be convicted of a crime? It's a game of what you can prove, and if you're allowed to present a case effectively in court. It shows the corruption of law enforcement and the effects it has on the community and groups of people that are too often targeted. It shows that people in power just want the case solved, no matter if an innocent person goes down for it or not, just so that it can be said they got crime solved while in office, especially during the times of elections. It gives a perspective of how Caucasians view African Americans and other people of color. It depicts the fear and uneasiness that persons of color have every day when walking among Caucasians. The story gives a glimpse of how incarceration affects the families of those inmates. I was really rooting for Eli, Liza, and Langston. They all had something to prove and overcome in this story. I was a little irritated by Slager's behavior as someone that is supposed to be investigating and upholding the law. He just turned out to be a bad cop. And you'll read in the book how that affected people in his community. I felt disheartened at the lack of urgency of Frederica, the journalist, and Eli regarding getting the evidence needed to assist Liza. I was just like, do y'all not feel an urgency here? Do y'all not? Like, what are we waiting for? That's kind of how I felt. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, come on. I think this story can bring out a few emotions and questions. There are some topics of discussion, of course. Okay, so the book does not have any discussion questions. It does have an author's note that I highly suggest that you read. But some topics that could come up for discussion would be the current laws that are in place that were created like eons ago. Like, what laws should be modified for the current state of our society? Should the death penalty still be an option for criminal punishment? How reliable is eyewitness testimony when that is the only piece of evidence that connects a person to a case? How important is DNA to a case? What is the process of appeals and time limits to overturn a conviction? How does a family cope with having an incarcerated family member? Would you allow fear to prevent you from speaking the truth? How do you view people and other races, and was that perspective learned as a child by your family or outside sources and experiences? What length would you go to in order to clear your name or the name of a loved one? So, if you've read the book, I am certain you will come up with more topics of conversation. There is one review comment on this book that I agree with. It came from David Haskell Wannabe Wyden. I know I probably botched that. But that person said, a riveting story of injustice and redemption. This unforgettable novel will stick with you and change the way you view the world. I think it will certainly make you think about how things work and the perspective people may have, for sure. So I definitely agree with that assessment of this book. I did listen to the audiobook version and enjoyed the narrator. I would say this is a moderately paced book with just a few high points. There are some triggers that should be mentioned. There is detailed death and violence described in the book. The racial perspective may be triggering, at the very least thought-provoking. And there is description of incarceration. And I'd be interested in seeing this play out on the screen. I think it would probably make a very good movie. Yeah, I think it would make a very good movie. So that is that. I do give this a 10 out of 10. So if you've read the book, tell me your thoughts. If you haven't read the book, pick it up and be enlightened. As always, thank you for watching this video. Oh, you may notice just a tad bit change in the picturing of this video. I got me a webcam, you guys. Woo! And I'm not real sure how I feel about that, because when I was setting up the webcam, it like was trying to show too much in the background, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not too keen on people like seeing too much in my house. In that respect, my home is my sanctuary, and so I know people will show their homes and they're gorgeous and everything like that, and I'm just thinking, like, you have just shown the world where you live, the layout of your house. And I was just like, no, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, no. So, I was trying to get the webcam situated, so it's like, okay, they get the same frame they've always gotten, okay, rank, until I get to a point where I can like go out on location and give y'all a view of something other than this wall back here. I was like, man, y'all still gonna get the wall, sorry. But I hopefully that will better the grade of the videos with this webcam. From my view, it looks a little bit clearer, crisper. So maybe that will be a nice thing for the future. But back to the book. It is a good book. It's probably like a weekend. It's a weekend read. Nothing too long. So pick it up. Tell me what you think. If you've already read it, definitely jot down some comments for me, okay? I'd like to know what you thought of this book. And I would be very, very appreciative if you would click that subscribe button. You know, you can click like, share, tell a friend. All your literary loving friends, tell them to come on over and take a gander at these videos so they can put some more stuff on their to be read list. So until next time, keep turning the pages, my book lovers.